What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with the Point of Change. Just trying to get a few shares out there quick, guys. So if you bear with me for just a minute, make sure you guys are getting your shares on the board. Give me some likes. Give me some loves. Give me those hearts flowing up. Give me a share out in any addiction groups you may be a part of or onto your own page if you wish. Tonight we have an awesome guest for you guys, an amazing story of addiction recovery. A buddy of mine, Tim Szostek. He started his own page, THUGG Life Addiction and Recovery. Tonight, they actually launched a new page. Tim has had a bunch of problems, Facebook mumbo jumbo. We all know how that goes. But he's had a few problems with his page. So he's firing off a new one, THUGG Life Recovery 2.0. And he's coming here to have an interview about his addiction and recovery. Make sure you guys are getting those likes, loves, shares out. Let me get to some comments in just a minute here as soon as I get a couple more shares out. I know some of my groups that people might want to be here live for this, so I want to get this out to them. Let's see, where's my mama's group? My mama started a support group for friends and family of recovering addicts, so I want to make sure I get shared in there. All right, let me get this pulled up here. Let's see who's all here. We got Patrice. What's up? How you doing tonight? Pam Valesner. If Pam's not here, we'll shut the video down, I swear. Thank God Pam's here. Brandy Conklin, good evening. I was going to say good morning. Did you see it? I was going to say good morning. Shared out. Thank you, Brandy, for the share. Belinda Moore shared. Barely can hear you, Maddie. What? What is going on? Christy, do I want to watch this on my 30-inch Fire TV? That would be great. Kayla says, hi, Marty. Marty McFly here with the Point of Change. What's up, you guys? Brandy, so excited. Tomorrow is my 3 years freed up. Right on, Brandy. Congratulations on 2 years and 364 days. That is awesome, Brandy. And come back tomorrow morning so we can make sure we give a party for you. Send me a message, Brandy, if you would. I'd love to make you a post tomorrow. If you're down for that kind of thing, send me a message tomorrow morning. Remind me, and I'd love to make you a post if you could send me a picture. Like a before and after would be great, or I could just use your profile picture, but I'd love to make you an appreciation post. Tammy Brooks, what's up? How you doing tonight? Ashley Cotter, Maddie is on my 65-inch TV. What's up, you guys? That's awesome. I love being huge. Oh, this is great. Oh, let's see. Jenna Mills. Hello, y'all. Hello, Jenna. Good to see you tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure you like, love, and share the stream. Tonight, Tim Szostek. No, Tim Szostek from THUGG Life Addiction and Recovery is here to share his story of addiction and recovery and the advocacy that he is doing these days. Brandy says, I'll message you. Thank you, Brandy. That'll be awesome. Jennifer, hi guys, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Jennifer. Thank you for being here. Addie Shepard, hey Maddie. Hey Addie, how are you? Good to see ya. Pam, believe me, I am not that important. What? How dare you come into my live feed and talk any nonsense about Pam Valesner? Pam Valesner, you will get banned from my page for talking crap about yourself. Stop that right now. No, I would never ban you for doing such a thing. I love you, Pam. Thank you for being here. Curtis Nelson, what's up, Maddie? You're one good man. Thank you for being here, Curtis. I appreciate that, brother. Thanks for all the conversations we've had recently. That's helping me, man. It's helping me, helping you. I love that stuff. All right, guys, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Make sure you guys give me those likes, give me those love. Oh, I got to waste another second of your time. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can find it here. Right behind me, guys. I got a new supporter over on Patreon right here. Can we see it on camera? Oh, no, because my light's shining right on it. Hang on. Let me readjust the lighting. Turn that way. There. Now, can we see it? No. Hang on. All right. We're moving the camera. Whoa, flyby. Now, can we see it? Mike was 61020. Mike Ward. Right on, brother. I am so glad to have you on my banner. Mike got a gifted subscription. Patrice Wasp loves to give out gifted subscriptions. So she subscribed, Mike Ward, to the Point of Change. And also, up there in the corner, you got Mark Miro right there behind the panda bear. But right next to Mark is Brian with 111319. Right on, Brian. Thank you guys for becoming supporters of the Pointer Change. Coming back. Camera's going back. There we go. If anybody else wants to become supporters of what I do here on the Pointer Change, go over to the patreon.com/thepointerchange and get signed up at the membership level that works for you. There is a link in the description of this video. All right, guys, I'm not going to waste any more of your time with that Facebooker crap. Here we go. Tonight's guest, throw up every heart in the world for Tim Szostek. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Good to have you here, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. Blessed to be alive, blessed to be sober. You know, just couldn't ask for more.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. You're doing a lot of good work over there at THUGG Life. I like watching your videos, man. The color changingness is like that's like your catch right there. I like that.
My thing, you know. It kind of puts me in the mood, you know. It distracts me from all the outsideness, I guess. You know, I actually
No.
took out the music for you, man.
I like it. I like it, man. It's different. You know, you got to have your little thing. You got to have some way to stand out, man. And that's something that stood out to me right away was the color changing in your videos. I think it's kind of cool. So you just celebrated 18 months.
I did.
Hell.
It was a long 18 months, you know. I mean, it was mostly street this time. You know, I was 5 years clean, but then relapsed shortly after I got out of prison. So,
Oh, right
start
on.
all over, man.
Right on. Right on. Was that 5 years clean? Was that all in prison time?
It was, yes.
Okay, so once the real world hit, all of a sudden it's a different thing, huh?
Man, I mean, you know, you think you got it, and then you just like that, you don't. You know, you get too cocky sometimes, and then you know, it gets you when you least expect it.
For sure, for sure. Well, you know, a lot of people talk about the drugs that gets into jails and prisons and stuff, but I mean, like that's a good example right there that yeah, it is available, but I mean, a person can stay clean in jail a lot easier than you can outside of jail. I
I
hate to
almost
use the
think it's
word,
harder sometimes. You know, I mean, you can just walk out your cell and you got it there. You know,
yeah.
on the streets you got to make a phone call.
Oh, so it was more readily available to you in prison than it was out, and you still relapsed when you got out.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the feds though. You know, so it was a little different. You know, you get drug tested and you fail one. I mean, you're losing a whole year's good time, if not more. And you know, all your benefits. You know, your commissary, your phones, your everything for 6 months. So it's just something that I just didn't want to risk. You know.
Oh, right on. I feel you there, man. Yeah, that's like your outside lines to the world. And sometimes that commissary, dude, when you're behind bars, that commissary is the only thing that makes you feel like a real person sometimes still.
Oh, that's right.
Fucking nothing like coffee and a hookup, dude. When you're
Yeah,
down and out
exactly.
in jail, a coffee and a hookup will bring you back up into some good spirits.
I actually only drank one cup of coffee the entire time I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it
Dude,
was pretty
last
amazing. No,
my
I mean, I definitely traded dope for donuts, but the coffee, I tried to stay away from all that sodas, everything, man.
dude, my last 97 days in jail, I was literally snorting coffee.
I see him smoke it too.
Oh man, if I could have smoked it, I'd have smoked it, man. I was such like looking back at myself in that time, I was at such a point like I was looking for anything to get outside of my brain, you know. When you're snorting lines of coffee off of the fucking off off the toilet, sitting on the toilet in jail, snorting lines of coffee, you know you got a problem. Uh, dude, so you're Chattanooga, Tennessee. Have you lived there your whole life? Your whole life?
No, actually, I lived in Chattanooga about a year before I caught my case. Um, I actually came from Gainesville, Florida before that. I was there for about 10.5 years. And then I was in Cali for a little bit. But I'm originally from your state, brother. From good old Wisconsin.
Right on. Wisconsin proud in the
There.
house. Love hearing that, man. Love hearing that. What case did you catch there?
I was the head of a 13-man conspiracy for heroin.
Oh wow. Wow. So you were in it deep, huh?
That's what they said. You know, I beg to differ, but It was kind of like the start of heroin. The epidemic just kind of started then, and so they got me, coming from Florida through Atlanta and Tennessee. So it was a multi-state operation that they got us on. So,
Okay. Okay. So you were actually supplying for a while. So like that's pretty awesome that you're going from a dope dealer to a hope dealer, brother. That's
yeah,
pretty
amen.
awesome.
Amen. That was part of my addiction, really. I'm 22 plus years as an addict, and for about 18 of them, I was also a distributor, and that was an addiction in its own. So it wasn't just the addiction of the drugs per se, but it was just the lifestyle. It was something I was good at. So it just kind of it's hard to break that. You know.
Eh, Yeah, for sure, for sure. Once you get a taste, sometimes once you get a taste of that money, and like in the real world, there ain't nothing like that kind of money, you know, and it's an addiction. It's in itself, and the criminal lifestyle. We get addicted to that. We get addicted to the whole nine of it is addicting. Everything pulls you in. So when did your addiction start?
I was probably, I mean, I started smoking pot, man, when I was in like fifth grade. I was a pretty young age,
Oh
and
wow.
it's kind of crazy because I tell my stories. I do motivational speaking for prisoner prevention ministries, and you know, uh, they like me because I kind of came from a different story than the I guess the general population does when they tell them. I came from a family that was owned a bunch of companies. They were very well off. So it wasn't about the money per se. It was just about, I think, mostly the independence. And my father again owned a couple of Italian restaurants, and you had to be a certain age to work there. Well, unless you're family, you can work there at any age. So I had this trying to just be liked, and so tried to fit in with the older crowd, and it just I got in communications with some big wigs, and they liked me, they wanted to teach me, and I was just aching to learn, and I took it to a whole new level, man.
Right on. Yeah. Don't we all? Don't we all take it to a whole new level? You mentioned briefly there the prison ministries. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like I was saying in the beginning here, I went 5 years in a maximum security federal prison. I got sentenced to 63 months. I got the leadership role, and I also got a reliable threat of violence, which allegedly I hired hitmen to kill CIs while I was locked up. And I don't know if you know anything about the feds. Hearsay counts there. So two people or more say that I did something or they seen me with something, and it sticks. But in most cases, they're just trying to get time off their sentence. So I did great, man, in those 5 years, and I didn't get a write up. Now I was in the shoe, or solitary confinement for 3.5 months in county because again I was the head of a 13-person conspiracy, and they were all in the same jail. And so as they started doing things, uh, I got mad, and so they red sheeted me and put me in the shoe for until I went to prison. And while I was in there, they had the ministries that came around. Especially when you're behind that. It's a 24-hour lockdown there, and being in Chattanooga, it seems like it's worldwide. Jail here, it's pretty rough, man. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And so when they came by, it really meant a lot. Just them taking the time out to reach out to you and say a prayer for you or whatever. And so when I got out of prison the first time, I was in the halfway house for 6 months. They kicked me out of the halfway house just to go home on home confinement because I had a co-defendant that was there and was scared for his life, so they sent me home, which I was all for that. I was trying to repair my marriage. My ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, was actually uh, kind of part of the conspiracy as well. And yeah, I told her to tell on me to try to get time off, go home. But when I got out, when she got out, I should say, it just didn't really work with us. We actually got married in county over a monitor, only because we were supposed to get married like 2 weeks after I actually got locked up, and it didn't work out when she, got out. But when I got out, we tried to mend it, and the thing was, Matt, is we didn't know each other sober. It was
Yep.
always our relationship started using and abusing. So we got out and we were like, man, I just don't think I really like you sober. And so of course, it went back to and actually a drug that I didn't even really care for. Yes, I distributed it time to time, but it was her drug of choice, which we met. And you know, I was owed a lot of money getting out, and someone kind of just gave me a good quantity of it and said, "Hey, we can take this for partial payment." And I said, "It's better than nothing." And instead of just getting rid of it, hey, why don't you just keep that for a little bit? And that went from using from time to time, and it made us feel kind of like the old us. And so within uh within the first week of actually getting out of the halfway house and starting probation, uh, I failed my first drug test, and that kind of just did a domino effect. And they sent me to a rehab. Made it 8 days in that rehab. Um, I didn't have the right mindset. You know what I mean? They sent me to like 120 days. It's either that or going in front of the judge. It's like 120 days. I mean, I relapsed for a week. You know what I mean? I mean, how are you gonna say I need 120 days? I just went 5 years clean, and
Yep.
so I got told on for having a cell phone. I had a cell phone snuck in there on day 7. By day 8, they wanted to search me, and I wasn't gonna have it, so I left. Uh, the next week, I seen my probation officer, and she violated me. Well, that's when it was just like the lowest point ever. I mean, it was like, okay, I just did great for how long? And here I am in the back of this freaking van again. And I was always, real questionable about, my higher power. And just because, I'm a realist at the end of the day. And so it's just, these what ifs. It's always the what ifs. Well, I tried everything, man, and I finally just I gave up and I surrendered. I got to my knees. I just dropped. I said, I'll try anything. I'll do anything. And Thug of Thug Life actually stands for total happiness upon God's grace. That's what it actually stands for. And
Right
it's
on.
because once I finally surrendered myself to God and just to whatever He said, I started opening the Bible, and I've tried this like thousands of times before. I mean, I probably prayed 10 million times before I got sentenced, and but nothing ever worked out. It's like, man, if it ain't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all, and but then finally, it started to make sense. I opened that book and I actually could understand the words, and then I just open every day, every morning. I'd open up a page, just open the book, read a page, and it related to me or whatever the situation was at that time. And I said, man. And so I started doing these little recovery groups in jail, and started
Right
off
on.
with like just me, and then by the end of it, it was like 7, 8 people. But I also attended a church group that was within the county because I was in the Fed pod, so it was full lockdown.
Yeah,
And
that stuff right there is so important too. Those little groups in jail to give a guy a break, and like for me, it was I told myself I was just it was just a way to get me out of the cell. but like I had seeds planted when I went to those little meetings. I think those things have a lot more power than people realize.
They do, but they weren't those kind of meetings. The inmates actually held them. We couldn't leave the pod, just because every time that we did, something would always happen. And so they kind of kept us in there. But I mean, it was just within the inmates. And I remember this one time, guy was in the group was like, "Man, just pray and you'll receive." So there was something that was like really bothering me that day. Like I just nothing was working, and I was like, you know what? Let me just give this a shot. And so I prayed about it, and I swear to you, man, if it wasn't by the time I walked out of that cell 2 minutes later, I got on the phone and I said, "Now, if I mean, if this don't make a believer out of me, I don't know what will, you know." So when I finally got back out of prison, they actually messed up my paperwork and sent me home instead of to the halfway house. That's actually where the day I met my fiance now. But I knew of a program called the Prisoner Prevention Institute, and it was just my dad again was a business owner and very well known in the community. And J 104, I think is what it is. It's a Christian radio station, and he's actually the guy, the DJ actually came and buried me and my ex-wife in jail, and he mentioned about the prisoner prevention. So I was like, you know what, let me give it a try, and it was a volunteer thing. It's what I was, assuming. So I call and talk to this guy, and just juggled, and oh, we don't really, get new people in often, and to find out it takes like 3 years to get into, the position that I'm in. And I told my story, parts of it, and I had a meeting like 3 days later, and from that meeting, um, came, I mean, a job, and it wasn't volunteer. I mean, it was a paid job, even though it wasn't about that. I mean, I had a lot going anyways, but it was about giving back. I was such a problem in the community for 20 plus years. For once, I wanted to become the solution. It's like if there really is a heaven, man, and it's either I go there or I go to hell. I said, I need to change my life around. I need to change it now, and I'll do anything I have to. There's a story I read about a lady died and went to hell for like 30 hours or something, and it was just I don't know, kind of crazy, but it hit me some kind of way. And so I was like, man, I don't want to burn with the Pope and Michael Jackson. So I'm like, I need to fix something here. So I started doing these speeches, man, and it was just so rewarding, man. It's not just going into the jails or prisons, but it's going to middle schools, elementary schools, high schools, and colleges, and doing the speeches there. That's the most rewarding there, because you're hitting them at all ages, and to see
Amen.
some of these kids, I mean, that are already gang members or addicted to heroin or meth or just whatever their drug of choice was, and then coming up to me afterwards and handing me their bandanas or giving it up. I mean, it's just like wow, like they're actually listening, and if you can't get them at that age, it's going to be hard to get them at a later. And I remember when I was in school hearing some of these guys come up, speak about addiction. It's like, I remember raising my hand once. I was like, and what drug were you addicted to? Well, I wasn't. I'm like, well, then who the hell are you to speak about it? Like,
it's so funny you say that, man. I seen a speaker when I was in high school, and I was already doing meth. I was doing meth at 17 years old, and we had a speaker come in and talk about methamphetamine, and he was like a non-addict detective who had worked on meth cases, and he came in, and I mean, a lot of the things, honestly, looking back, a lot of the things he said was true, but the way he said it with this fear, trying to instill the fear and trying to scare you straight kind of thing. And the fact that he had never done it, And I had, like, in my mind as a 17-year-old kid, in my mind that meant I knew more than he did. He's never even done this drug. I literally just did it last weekend, and he's up here trying to tell me what this drug does. I've done it. I know more than he does. And I turned a deaf ear to like everything he had to say. But like looking back, a lot of the things he said were true. Maybe I would have said them a different way. But like he said, one of the things he said is, if you use meth, you will never feel happy ever again. like I'm sitting there like, dude, I smoked meth last weekend and I'm laughing at you right now. I feel pretty happy in this moment. So to me, it was like he was being an idiot. But now looking back, I get the idea, that you deplete your dopamine, your dopamine storage, and not being able to feel the same happiness that you could before you used methamphetamine. I totally get what he was saying, but it was the way he was saying it, and just that fact that he'd never done it. So screw him.
And that's what it is too. It's like, okay, you're just you're telling me facts. I want to know experiences, and that's what really gets to anybody, and just like when I started my lives with the Thug Life, um, it was the day I got out of the halfway house, and I was trying to chop off my ankle monitor, and my case manager was kind of a dick, but he was trying. He thought I was on Facebook Live, um, so he gave me some wrong scissors to make it look like I wasn't strong enough to cut it off. Well, I was just trying to record it. I didn't even know what Facebook Live was. I mean, a lot of shit changes in 5 years in social media. Trust me. Um, so I'm like, Facebook Live, and he's like, "Yeah, aren't you on Facebook Live?" I said, "I don't even know what the hell that is, but sign me up." And so I looked it up, and I'm like, well, this must be what they were talking about. And so I started just doing some random videos. Facebook wanted to kick me off because I guess they're kind of like not good. Like I was being a little too harsh. And when I found out I was about to violate, and I already relapsed, I started doing like these live recovery videos type things, um, to hopefully cover my ass when I went to see that judge. Total wrong way, and but I had all my friends from back in Wisconsin kind of like we reunited. I'm like, all right, like maybe I am good at this. And so when I did violate, and that ride back, and everything, that just the 4 months that I did uh, in county, and then back in Atlanta, in the USP prison that I was at, we were always locked down there too. Uh, so I started just creating this, and Thug Life actually came up when I was in Fulton County, which is in Atlanta County Jail, before I got sentenced on my original case. And I was in 22 and 2 lockdown with this crackhead. And I just actually broke 2 ribs, and had this big gouge in my head because I snorted a line of Wellbutrin and some other pills, and stood up real quick and just blacked out, man, and hit the toilet. Them things don't budge. They solid. And so he's just like talking and trying to preach to me, and I'm like, "Oh Lord, if you are alive, get me out of this cell. If you are real, I mean, it's like." And me and this guy actually came up with Thug, total happiness upon God's grace. And I'm like, you know what? I said, if I ever do, get better and recover, and try to speak to people, I'm gonna use that, man, in honors of you. And he actually died like 3 days later in that cell with me. So so it was kind
Wow.
of crazy, but so I mean, I told him I'm gonna use it one day, and sure enough, man, I did. So it's in honors
Wow.
of I don't know, I called him Bubba, but yeah, I don't know his real name, but so it was kind of in honors of him, man. That's how Thug Life started. It's just seeing the realness in people's actual stories. Like you, Drew Hicks, and there's a couple other ones out there. I actually try not to watch many. You're probably honestly one of the only ones I do, and the reason for that is because I don't like to repeat anything. I like to come up with my own ideas, and I feel like if I listen to others, that just maybe even accidentally, I'm going to say something that they did. I don't want that to be, I want to be my original. Mine's a little different. I'm a hard ass. I'm a to the point, tough love, because that's what helped me. It wasn't
Right on.
until my family started saying, "Fuck you, Tim, you ain't getting nothing from us," that I actually had to say, "Well, damn, I maybe I need to take half that energy that I did doing wrong or trying to find my drugs or make that money and turn it around into something that like positive. I'll do just fine." So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do on all mine. It's okay, if you want to hear it, like, can you handle the truth? You've heard that. Can you handle the truth? And everyone's, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But 90% of them can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, if you really want it, I'm the one to talk to. If you don't, then I'm not. And I've had so many issues with the name Thug Life. Oh, it's this, oh, it's that. But it's not about a thug, a gangster. Like I say, you want to be a true thug or a true gangster is someone that wakes up every morning, puts on his work shoes, goes works his ass off for his family, comes home, pays the bills, eats dinner, and kisses their kid or their wife on the cheek and do it all over again. That's a fucking gangster. It's not the thug that you see that's wearing these bandanas, carrying guns with their pants halfway down their ass. That's not the one I'm talking to. I was locked up with real gangsters, and on my violation, some of these people that had life in the feds is deceased. There ain't no 35 years, 55 years, 80 years. It's if you got life, you're in there for the rest of your life. It's clemency. And I said to this big gangster, I was in the same place as Al Capone, John Gotti, all that. I've met George Young from Blow. I've met some of these big wig mafia gangsters, and I said, was it worth it? And he's like, how can I be a gangster being in here? A gangster is someone that protects their family. A gangster is someone that does what they have to do when needed for the people they love. How can I do that behind this brick wall? Because Atlanta is a stone wall. And I said, damn, ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a lot of people get this discouragement. Oh, that's like even my family, my own family. You know, my dad, he's my I don't know if he just it's hard on me because he knows I can do good and I turn that shit into drive, or if it's just a prick sometimes. But I love him to death. But it's he just never acts like he supports it. And I just take all that negativity. I take all that because you're always going to have haters in your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that want to see you fail, or the ones that just don't think you can do it. And I always whip out a good friend of mine, and I know a lot of people know this friend. A lot of people laughed about it, but we've all grown up with this person, and it's the Thomas the Train Guy. And he's that engine that could. When everyone doubted him, he just kept taking that in the drive, man, and he made it up that hill. So
Yep.
and that's what I've had to do, and it's worked for me. It's not just, oh, you're gonna do fine, it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay. I mean, if I go back and I violate again, or if I get another charge because of drugs, yeah, they're gonna career me out. I mean, I went from never being in trouble in my entire life, man. I mean, I had a DUI on my record, going serving 3 hours in jail to serving 63 months in federal prison in the maximum security prison. That shit ain't for me, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't have another recovery in me. That's just for the birds. And people
Yep.
take it all lightly of, oh, I just slipped. Oh, it's just one hit. Well, we all know one is too many, a thousand is never enough. And so I could be all, it'll be okay, it'll be this, but it's not going to be okay. You know, I've had so many friends die because of drugs. Whether it was, oh, they just did one hit, they're clean for 4 or 5 years, and then they think they can handle the same amounts they did when they ended their addiction. And then here they are, they're gone. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's something that you can't take lightly. I mean,
Yep.
I was on life support for 2.5 months when I was 19 years old. I was in the hospital for 3 months, man, because of an overdose of cocaine. Uh, I was pronounced dead 3 times for over 2 minutes. And this has happened multiple times throughout my life. It's like I've October 23rd of 2014, weeks before I actually got incarcerated by the feds. I tried to kill myself by doing like 2.5 grams of heroin, uncut with cocaine and meth mixed in it. I mean, and
Wow.
I woke up and I seen my wife, and I'm like, surely she's not in heaven. I must be in hell, And but I was still alive, and it's like, well, there's got to be a reason that I'm still here, and it wasn't until I violated and I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, this has got to be the reason, is to share my experiences as an addict, because I was a leader, man. I was a leader, but just like Hitler, there's not every leader's good. I was not a good leader for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm trying to lead by example, and you can only do. I go by 4 things. I don't know if you've heard me talk about them. I actually got a shirt that says it on the back. Follow the drill. And it stands for dedication, respect, integrity, and loyalty. It's the 4 things I go by, man. And if every person shows loyalty, integrity, respect, and dedication out there, and embed it into this younger generation, this world will be better. Dedicate yourself to recovery and getting better and clean like you did getting high. Because if you put forth even a fraction of that effort, we get a lot further. Just like my video yesterday, I think you were on there for a minute. Just say no. Oh, it's not that easy, Tim. And like I made that example with that girl. I said, I asked her a question, and the answer was no. I said, well, it's that fucking simple. I mean, you just say it. And I know it's hard. Trust me. I love drugs. I love them. And if it probably wasn't for prison, I'd still probably be on them right now. But I also seen that this one person that did speak out when I was younger and said, you can have just as good a life, as much fun, sober as you can in active addiction. And I'm thinking to myself, shoot, you've never been where I've been, homeboy. I mean, you can't bring a carload of women back to your house sober. But you know what? It's all in how you make life. It's how you look at things. You're either going to look at life as the glass is half empty, or you're going to look at it as half full. And if you
Mm-hmm.
can look at it as half full, anything that you do, I could find a positive in anything, any situation out there now. If you can do that, you're gonna bring yourself to something so much more pure, so much better than you could have ever imagined in active addiction. And once I found that out, once I could actually see that with my own 2 eyes, is when I finally figured it out, man.
Amen, brother. Amen. That's so true, man. Like it's all about perspective. Like if you're family orientated, or if you're not family orientated, then a carload of women and a bunch of drugs seems like awesome fun. But if you're family orientated and want, a job and a good life and stuff, that carload of women and drugs doesn't seem so appealing anymore. That doesn't look like fun to me anymore. That looks like fucking trouble to me nowadays. So like the perspective change is so important. But I would go back. I want to go back for just a second to what you were saying about watching other people's videos and the ideas you get from other people's videos. I understand the wanting to be original, and I think you definitely still can be. But what I would say to that is like when I first started this, I had that same thought that I want to be all original. I don't want other people's ideas of addiction and recovery influencing my thoughts on addiction and recovery. But there are things that we hear people say in our addiction or in our recovery that are like mind-blowing moments, you know what I mean? And you follow me and you follow Drew Hicks and you follow these other guys. Like some of your followers might not see that other stuff. Some of your followers you might be the only recovery person they see speaking. So they're never going to hear Drew Hicks or hear me say those words that you heard. So in some aspects, I think, drawing inspiration from other videos you see is really important as well, and you can still turn it into your own message as well. But I mean, it's like some of those stories that we hear through recovery and through addiction, through recovery and through time itself, are stories that were told from one person to the next that were repeated over time. So I think there's importance in that too. So, I'd just say don't rule out completely borrowing topics from other people. I mean, like sometimes I make sure, like if Drew Hicks starts his video in the morning and it's the topic is identity, I'm of course not going to go live at 10 a.m. and be like identity and just say the same shit he said.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I'd have an angry message from Drew after that. But like a lot of times I will do that kind of thing. I'll watch other people and I either watch, I listen for what they're saying because I got a lot of followers that don't follow Drew Hicks and they don't follow Richie Weber, but they follow me. So if I see something they did that I think would benefit my followers as well, I'll borrow it for my own thing. But I put my own point of change spin on it, tell it from my perspective, and I think that's a good way that we can continue spreading a good message.
Yeah, and I'm starting to learn that. I'm new to this whole thing. I've only been
Oh,
doing it a year. And it's and like you said, it was in the beginning is when I was so weary about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. The thing I try to avoid though is like I see like these posts, like it'll be like an inspirational quote and I'll see it on Drew's page and then I see it on Richie's page and then I see it over on Climb for Recovery and then I seen it on Recovery Works and it's like, all right, I'm not going to be a freaking copy machine over here like and just print out the same it works if you work at post every day. If you want that stuff, follow the 9 other pages that it's posted on. I'm going to talk about my story and my stuff, but there is, I'm just saying that there is definitely value in borrowing stuff from other people. And then I only, not only do I watch what other speakers are saying, but how they're saying it too, just to develop your craft as a motivational speaker too.
Yeah, I agree there. Definitely agree
Definitely.
there. It's
But
you either got it or you don't. It's but I've seen people just do wonders, man. If you put God, in my case, I put God for it, and He just led the way. He led me to you. He's led me to seeing, Drew Hicks and things like that. And you guys are doing great things. You guys are definitely a step ahead of me. You've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and you guys inspire me and motivate me. So I appreciate all you guys do for sure.
oh hell yeah, brother! And your videos inspire me along the way too, man. We all kind of, all kind of comes full circle in this world. Yeah, for sure. And like everything you're doing with I'm sure 2020 slowed down your in-person speaking quite a bit as it did for everybody. But when you can get back to getting into prisons and stuff, man, that's so needed and so necessary. And like a person who can, relate to people in prison, convicts or felons, that's so needed. There's people out there that have never been to jail, never been an addict, but they really want to help addicts and they can't, and me and you, guys like us, we have that opportunity. We have the opportunity to be the person that can reach them. They might study their whole life to try to do what we can do in a minute. So it's important that we keep doing that, man. Well, I won't take up too much more of your time, man. I'll let you get out of here. You got any final words you want to close up with?
I mean, guys, just the one thing I always try to tell people is, just like when we were younger, we used to drink and get so drunk that the next day we're hungover. We're like, I'm never drinking again, and you really meant it. But then a few days go by, you feel better, and what are you doing? You're drinking. What we got to do is remember that day or that time when you were just like at your worst. When you said, I'm done, I surrender, I give up. So any time that you feel that trigger, that urge of wanting to relapse, go back and remember that day. Because that day is just a snap of a finger away of happening again. So if you want to try to find a way to help you, say no instead of saying yeah, go back to that day. That day can just change your life once, it can change it again.
Amen. Amen, man. That's so true. Really is. I try to remind myself all the time of the time I spent in jail there, freaking detoxing and sleeping for damn near a week. The guy I was back then compared to the guy I am today, it's two different people. That's for sure.
You wouldn't know me.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming and sharing your story with us, man. It was awesome getting to know you a little bit.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, man. God bless. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. God bless.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Pointer Change meets Tim Szostek from THUGG Life Addiction and Recovery. His new page, THUGG Life Recovery 2.0. Make sure you guys get over there and check that out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. This was an awesome video. Make sure you like, love, and share this out. Make sure you like my page if you're new to the page. I'm live every morning at 10 a.m. Central. All right, guys, have a good night. I will see you tomorrow morning. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.